Good morning, everybody. Mark, aka the Ministry Dude, coming to you live from Livingston, Tennessee. Well, kind of live, anyways. I want to give a big shout out to Jerry's IGA today, our hometown grocery store. Thank you for all you do for our community. We really appreciate it. They give food out, they help, people that's having trouble with food. Thanks for all you do. Right? Right, dear? I love you. You love me too. Alrighty, let's get right into it, shall we? Let me get my mouse cursor over here. There we go. Today is January 18th, 2025. We're on day 18 of Through the Bible. I hope you're following along with me. I hope you picked up a copy of it. So let's get right into it this here. Genesis 13:1. Abraham and Lot, they face a crisis. Genesis 13:9. What a good testimony on Abraham's part. He gives Lot the choice. After Lot has chosen, God gives everything in every direction to Abraham, including which Lot had selfishly chosen for himself. Many times in our Christian life, very nice things and opportunities will open up for us, and you will feel you have the right to have them. However, the good is always the enemy of the best when the two are laid side by side. Genesis 13:10. How did one who had been so godly as to have been chosen by God to travel which Abraham find himself in such an ungodly place as Sodom, as we later see in chapter 19? It didn't happen overnight. A big sin never does. It is a sliding process for Lot. The process began here. He looked at the plain of Jordan, indicating he was walking by sight and not by faith. He chose the plain and parted company with Abraham. Then he lived in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent close to Sodom. The context indicates that at some point he began living in Sodom, and in chapter 19 he appeared to be an alderman of the city. While Satan seldom gets us to leap headlong into sin, he is quite successful at getting us to take little steps, one at a time, until we are at the place he wants us. Just say no at the very onset. That's one thing about following God. All it takes is just one step towards him. Just one step is all it takes. Then it's not really that hard. Just put your best foot forward. This is from Genesis 13, 14 and 15. Abraham and Lot part company. One of the greatest lessons you will ever learn as you read through Scripture is that God always speaks to us according to our heart's needs at the time. God is not nearly as interested in intellectual communication at the head level as he is in the emotional communication at the heart level. More interested in your heart than your smart. What do we got? Genesis 13:17. Abraham's initial entry into Canaan was by peaceful means. Proverbs 23:4-8. We are not to work excessively in order to acquire great wealth. We are not to so covet what we have so much that we hate parting with it. What are we to do in regards to riches? Good advice is to simply accept whatever comes our way as a gift from God. Use what is necessary to meet our needs, and be willing to part with the rest of it for some greater good. That's the only way you'll get to take any of it with you. Take what you need and leave the rest. I think there was a song about that, wasn't there? The night they drove old Dixie down. That's it. All right, let's finish up here. We're going to go with Genesis 15:6. Brief and righteousness. God says that believing was the only thing needed for God to approve of Abraham. And it is really quite simple. It is not complicated. Do you down deep inside just instinctively believe God and trust him? That is the childlike faith of which Jesus later spoke. We all get hung up on specific sins, and in our level of trust, is it sufficient? But if we consider the grand scheme of things, at this point in man's history or any other time, God was looking for people who simply trusted him. Here's something from John 4:11. In Abraham's story, he faced a spiritual well which was very deep. Rather than look to himself to supply his need, he gave it over to God, and God met his need. We too have deep wells, and we often fail to consider that Christ can supply the need. We go about searching the well in ourselves. Jesus is telling this woman that she does not need to search her resources. He has reservoirs about which she knows nothing. And my God will supply all your need according to his riches and glory by Jesus Christ. Philippians 4:19 that was. What's that? We are free to choose sin, but we are not free to choose the consequences. Adrian P. Rogers says that. Well, thanks everybody for listening today. We appreciate it. We want to say have a blessed day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.